People wake up, check their phones, drink their coffee, and go to work. None of them know the world has less than 6 hours left before everything changes. At 4:13 a.m. GMT, military satellites detect unusual missile activity near the Black Sea. 3 minutes later, radar systems in Eastern Europe light up. Nobody knows if it's an exercise, a malfunction, or the beginning of World War III. Then, the internet starts slowing down. Banks across Europe suddenly stop processing transactions. In Taiwan, Chinese naval aircraft launch from carriers into the Pacific. In the Persian Gulf, oil tankers abruptly reverse course near the Strait of Hormuz. Within minutes, financial markets begin collapsing before they even open. The world senses something terrible is coming. It begins with a mistake. During a tense naval standoff near Taiwan, a missile lock warning appears inside the cockpit of a Chinese fighter pilot. Believing he's about to be attacked, he fires first. The missile slams into an American surveillance aircraft. 42 personnel disappear into the Pacific within seconds. Washington calls it an act of war. Beijing claims it acted in self-defense. Diplomats rush to stop escalation, but the internet is already on fire. AI-generated footage spreads faster than facts. Millions believe major cities have already been bombed. Panic buying begins worldwide within 2 hours. Then, another crisis erupts. A massive cyber attack shuts down sections of Europe's power grid. NATO cannot confirm who launched it, but fighter jets are already in the air. By nightfall, the world enters military lockdown. NATO activates emergency defense protocols across Eastern Europe. Russian missile systems are placed on high alert. China announces a temporary security exclusion zone around Taiwan. Commercial flights vanish from the skies one by one. Oil prices surge past $300 a barrel overnight. Global stock markets crash harder than 2008 and 2020 combined. Entire economies freeze in real time. In the Middle East, Iranian-backed militias begin targeting military bases and shipping routes. Israel mobilizes reservists by the hundreds of thousands. The Strait of Hormuz, the artery of global oil, becomes a battlefield. Cargo ships stop moving. Insurance companies refuse to cover international shipping. Within hours, supply chains begin dying. Grocery stores across multiple countries run out of food in less than 48 hours. Day 3. The war spreads into cyberspace. Major hospitals lose access to patient systems. Water treatment plants malfunction after coordinated cyber intrusions. Entire cities lose electricity for days. AI-controlled drones begin hunting armored vehicles across Eastern Europe. Soldiers report being tracked by autonomous reconnaissance systems they cannot see. In orbit, satellites start disappearing. GPS systems become unreliable worldwide. Commercial ships drift off course. Aircraft navigation begins failing. Then, hypersonic missiles enter the war. Defense systems designed for older conflicts struggle to react in time. Cities now have minutes, sometimes seconds, to respond. Governments begin preparing underground continuity bunkers. The public notices. Fear becomes global. In Warsaw, a father tapes blankets over shattered windows while trying to calm his daughter. In Taipei, families sleep in subway stations surrounded by emergency supplies. In Tehran, parents wait hours for bread that may never arrive. In New York, people stare silently at empty supermarket shelves. The internet becomes unreliable. Rumors replace truth. Some believe nuclear missiles are already airborne. Others think the war is fake. Refugee convoys stretch for miles across Europe and the Middle East. Millions are no longer thinking about politics. They're thinking about survival. Day 7. Early warning systems detect what appears to be multiple incoming launches. Nuclear submarines disappear beneath Arctic ice. Strategic bombers take off across several continents. For 13 minutes, the world believes nuclear war has begun. Then, analysts discover the terrifying truth. It was a false signal caused by cyber interference inside an aging radar network. One misunderstanding nearly ended civilization. World leaders now operate under unimaginable pressure. Military commanders demand decisive action. Citizens beg for peace. Nobody knows which side might panic first. And then, the world pauses. Not because peace has arrived, but because humanity finally sees how close it came to the edge. Economies are shattered. Millions are displaced. Entire generations are traumatized forever. And yet, the missiles stopped just short of the point of no return. The scariest part of World War III isn't how it starts, it's how easily ordinary people could sleepwalk into it. One misunderstanding, one cyber attack, one decision made in fear, and the modern world could collapse in days. The question is no longer whether humanity can build powerful weapons, it's whether humanity is wise enough not to use them. Because the next global war may not be won by anyone, only survived. If you want more realistic what-if scenarios that explore the future of humanity, war, technology, and survival, make sure to like this video and subscribe to What If Verse.